Close your eyes. Let the air enter your lungs not as a choice, but as an inevitable tide. Feel the heavy architecture of your skeleton sinking into the earth, surrendering to the pull of a world that does not require your permission to exist. You are not a commander. You are a witness. Your body is a vessel of stone and salt, and the bed beneath you is merely the ground reclaiming its own. Listen to the rhythm of your blood, the ancient, wordless thrumming that has persisted since the dawn of your being. You have spent the day chasing ghosts, building a fortress of logic to defend a self that is nothing more than a flickering candle in a gale. Now the walls are dissolving. The light is fading. Release the grip of your hands. Let your jaw heavy and your mind hollow. You are entering the chamber of the unseen, where the noise of the world is ground into fine, silent dust. There is a fiction you have been told, a lie that you are a solid, unchanging core at the center of the storm. You believe you are the thinker of the thoughts, the master of the house, a constant flame burning behind the eyes. But look closer into the dark. Reach into the void and try to grasp this self you guard so fiercely. You will find nothing but a bundle of perceptions, a fleeting parade of sensations that arise and vanish like mist on a winter morning. You feel a sudden heat, a memory of a face, a sharp pang of regret, a distant sound. These are the threads, but there is no weaver. There is only the weaving. You are a theater without a stage, a series of shadows dancing upon a wall that does not exist. The thoughts you believe are yours are merely intruders, uninvited guests that come and go through an open door. Stop trying to hold them. Stop trying to own the wind. The thoughts that haunt you, the anxieties of tomorrow, the scars of yesterday, are not made of steel. They are impressions, faint echoes of a world you can never truly touch. You see a mountain and believe it is solid, yet your mind only knows the color, the cold, and the jagged line against the sky. You are trapped in a labyrinth of your own making, reacting to shadows as if they could draw blood. Break the glass. Realize that your pain is but a habit of the mind, a custom of association that links one phantom to another. You are not the victim of your history. You are the victim of the story you tell yourself about it. The past is a graveyard of impressions that no longer breathe. Why do you carry the bones? Drop the weight. Let the images drift past you like debris in a river. You are the river, not the stone that sits at the bottom, immobile and cold. Reason is a cold master, a fragile blade that snaps when the blood begins to boil. You have tried to think your way into peace, to argue with your own shadow until you were exhausted by the noise. But reason is, and ought only to be, the slave of the passions. It is the servant that tries to explain the king's madness. Your intellect is not the architect of your soul. It is the narrator of a play it did not write. Feel the raw, wordless surge of your existence beneath the chatter of the mind. There is a deep, primal current that moves you, a force as blind and powerful as the gravity that pulls the tides. To find silence, you must stop trying to be right. You must stop trying to solve the riddle of who you are. The riddle is the distraction. The silence is the answer. Let the logic burn away. Let the why and the how dissolve into the blackness of the night. We walk through the world on a bridge of faith, assuming that because the sun rose yesterday, it must rise again. We believe in cause and effect as if it were a law written in the stars, yet it is only a custom of our own tired minds. We see one billiard ball hit another and we invent a power that moves them, but the power is invisible. It is a ghost we conjure to feel safe in the chaos. Apply this cold truth to your own suffering. You believe your thoughts cause your misery, but they are only coincidences of habit. There is no necessary connection between the world and your fear. You can witness the fire without being burned. You can hear the thunder without waiting for the rain. Strip away the expectations. Strip away the certainty. Stand naked in the uncertainty of the present moment. Here, in the gap between what was and what will be, is the only place where the mind can finally rest. The habit of your mind is a persistent ghost, a narrator that refuses to be silenced. You believe that by naming your fears, you gain dominion over them, but a name is just another cage. Look at the word anxiety. It is a sound, a collection of letters, a phantom that carries no more weight than the air it vibrates. Beneath the word lies only a raw sensation, a tightening of the chest, a quickening of the pulse. These are physical events, as natural as the wind or the rain. They are not you. They are simply happenings. Why do you grant them the power to disturb your peace? To dissolve the thought, you must stop feeding it the fuel of your attention. Observe the sensation as a cold scientist would observe a specimen. See the vibration, feel the heat, and then let it pass without a label. Without the story, the pain has no home. Without the name, the ghost has no face. Consider the objects you hold so dear, the possessions and the people you cling to as anchors for your identity. You believe they are solid, enduring, and real. But even the hardest diamond is a slow-moving cloud of particles, a temporary arrangement of matter in an infinite dance of decay. Your grip on the world is a desperate attempt to stop the spinning of the earth. You are trying to hold water in a sieve. Every relationship, every memory, every triumph is a transition, a passage from one state of being to another. The I that loves and the I that suffers is as mutable as the weather. When you realize that nothing is permanent, the urge to cling dissolves. You are a traveler through a series of rooms, and the doors are always opening behind you. Do not look back at the empty space. Look forward into the darkness, where the next impression awaits its birth. The mind is a mirror, but the mirror believes it is the image. You see a reflection of a tree and you think you are the wood and the leaf. You see a reflection of a sorrow and you think you are the tear. But the mirror remains silver and cold, untouched by the shadows that flicker across its surface. You are the capacity for experience, not the experience itself. The thoughts that surge through you are like clouds passing over a lake. Does the lake become the cloud? Does the water change its nature because the sky is gray? No. The water remains deep, silent, and still beneath the surface. Sink deeper now. Go below the level of the waves, where the light of the world cannot reach. Down here, in the cold, crushing pressure of the depths, there is no self to defend. There is only the vast, indifferent peace of the abyss. You have been taught to fear the void, to fill every silence with noise and every empty space with a task. You are terrified of what you might find if the music stops. But the void is not a predator. It is your origin. It is the fertile soil from which every thought and every feeling emerges. To embrace the void is to stop the exhausting labor of being someone. For a few hours, you are allowed to be no one. You are allowed to let the boundaries of your personality fray at the edges, to bleed into the darkness until there is no difference between the air in your lungs and the air in the room. This is not death. It is the ultimate liberation. It is the end of the war. The soldiers are going home. The flags are being lowered. The field is empty, and the grass is beginning to grow over the scars of the battle. Even the concept of time is a leash you have tied around your own neck. You divide your life into past, present, and future as if they were rooms you could walk between. But there is no past. There are only present memories. There is no future. There are only present expectations. You are forever trapped in the thin, razor-sharp edge of the now. This moment is all there is, and yet it is gone before you can name it. Stop reaching for what has fled and stop flinching from what has not yet arrived. The eternity you seek is not found in the length of days, but in the depth of the single second. Breathe into this infinitesimal point of existence. Let the weight of the years fall away. You are not a story with a beginning and an end. You are a single, eternal pulse of awareness, beating in the heart of the darkness. The pride you feel in your intellect is the final barrier to your rest. You believe that your ability to reason is what makes you human, but it is merely a habit of the mind, a sophisticated ritual of making connections where none truly exist. You are a creature of custom. You eat, you walk, you speak, not because of a grand logical design, but because you have done so before. Your life is a tapestry of repetitions. Accept this lack of control. Do not fight the tides of your own biology. When the body demands sleep, it is the earth demanding its tribute. Do not argue with the fatigue. Do not try to analyze why your eyelids are heavy or why the world is beginning to blur. Logic is a tool for the day. It is a useless relic in the night. Cast it aside like a broken sword. Let the instinct of the animal take over, the part of you that knows how to exist without a single word. Consider the nature of your own will. You believe you choose your path, yet you are moved by hidden currents of desire and aversion that you did not create. You are like a leaf that thinks it chooses the direction of the wind. This is not a reason for despair, but for an immense, bone-deep relief. If you are not in control, you are not responsible for the chaos of the universe. The burden of the world is too heavy for your shoulders. Let it fall. You do not need to hold the stars in their orbits or the blood in your veins. It all happens without you. Relinquish the throne. Become a commoner in the kingdom of existence. There is a profound dignity in surrender, a strength in becoming as soft and yielding as the water that carves through the hardest granite. Be the water. Flow around the obstacles of your own thoughts until they are nothing but smooth, forgotten pebbles in the stream. The world you perceive is a construction of light and shadow, a theater of the mind where the actors are your own sensations. You have never touched the world itself, only your impression of it. This wall, this air, this darkness, they are all internal events. You are a universe unto yourself, a solitary consciousness floating in a sea of unknown depth. If the world is a dream, then your nightmares are only as real as you allow them to be. You can choose to look away. You can choose to let the images dissolve into the black ink of the night. There is no external judge watching your progress, no cosmic scale weighing your failures. There is only the quiet. There is only the steady, rhythmic expansion and contraction of your own being. Let the boundaries of the room expand until they touch the edges of the galaxy. You are not small. You are the space in which everything occurs. Every regret you harbor is a ghost trying to live in a house that has already been burned down. You return to the ruins of your past, sift through the ashes, and wonder why your hands are black with soot. Hume's cold truth is that the person who committed those errors no longer exists. The person who suffered those wounds has been replaced, atom by atom, thought by thought. You are a new creation in every breath. To punish yourself for the past is to whip a stranger for a crime they did not commit. Grant yourself the mercy of total amnesia. Forget the names of your enemies and the dates of your defeats. They are entries in a ledger that has been lost at sea. The only reality is this breath, this weight, this stillness. Everything else is a phantom. Let the ghosts go. They have no power over the living unless you invite them to the table. Silence is not the absence of sound, but the presence of a deeper reality. It is the canvas upon which the noise of life is painted. Usually, you are so distracted by the brushstrokes that you forget the vast, white expanse behind them. Now, as the world grows dim, the paint is beginning to flake away. You are seeing the canvas. You are seeing the raw, unadorned truth of existence without the clutter of meaning. There is no meaning in the dark, and that is its greatest gift. You do not need a purpose to sleep. You do not need a legacy to breathe. You are enough as you are, a silent witness to the fading of the light. Let the last flickers of thought die out like embers in a cold hearth. The work is done. The fire is out. The room is dark, and the peace you have hunted for so long is finally, quietly here. The senses are the only gateways to the world, yet they are narrow and deceitful. You believe your eyes show you the truth, but they only show you a fragment of light. You believe your ears hear reality, but they only catch the vibrations of a dying air. We are prisoners in a tower of perception, interpreting the shadows on the wall as if they were gods. Recognize the fragility of your certainty. The things that kept you awake with worry today are merely tremors in the nerves, electrical flickers in the meat of the brain. They have no substance. They are as thin as the film on a soap bubble. When you realize the flimsiness of your reality, you stop fearing its collapse. Let the tower fall. Let the walls of your perception crumble into the dark. You are not losing the world. You are finally seeing the vast, empty space that lies behind the scenery. Consider the vanity of the ego, that loud, demanding voice that insists on being heard. It thrives on conflict, on the friction between me and them, between mine and theirs. But in the deep night, these distinctions are meaningless. The darkness does not care about your name or your status. The gravity pulling at your limbs does not recognize your achievements. You are being stripped of your titles, your clothes, and your history. You are becoming a nameless pulse in the throat of the universe. This nakedness is your strength. Without the ego to defend, there is no target for the arrows of the world to hit. You are becoming transparent. The insults, the pressures, and the expectations of society pass through you like light through glass. You are no longer a person. You are a state of being, as indifferent and enduring as the mountain. Every thought is a thief, stealing your presence to pay for a future that will never arrive. You spend your life preparing to live, building a ladder to a sky that has no end. But the ladder is made of smoke. Hume's wisdom is the wisdom of the end of the road. It is the realization that there is nowhere to go because you have already arrived. You are at the center of the only moment that has ever existed. The hustle of the day was an illusion, a frantic dance to avoid the stillness. But the stillness has caught you now. It is wrapping its cold, soft arms around you, pulling you back into the womb of the night. Do not struggle. Do not try to climb back into the light. The light is where the labor is. The dark is where the truth resides. Surrender to the heavy, velvet weight of the shadow. Your emotions are like the weather on a rugged coast, violent, unpredictable, and ultimately passing. You have mistaken a summer storm for a permanent climate. You have let a passing cloud of sadness convince you that the sun has died. But you are the coast, not the storm. The waves may crash against your cliffs. The salt may sting your skin, but you remain. You are the ancient, weathered stone that has seen 1,000 tides come and go. Beneath the surface of your turbulent feelings, there is a bedrock of primordial silence that cannot be moved. Connect with that stone. Feel the cold, immovable depth of your own foundation. The thoughts of the day are just foam on the water, white and loud for a second, then gone. You are the deep, dark water beneath, where the pressure is constant and the peace is absolute. The search for meaning is the final trap of the restless mind. You believe that for your life to be valid, it must serve a purpose, a grand design, a cosmic end. But look at the stars. They do not shine for a reason. Look at the stones. They do not exist for a purpose. They simply are. The universe is a magnificent, purposeless machine, and you are a part of its silent turning. To stop searching for meaning is to finally find rest. You are not a means to an end. You are the end itself. You are the universe experiencing its own cold, beautiful indifference. Let go of the need to be significant. Let go of the need to matter. In the grand scale of the void, your insignificance is your sanctuary. You are free to simply breathe, to simply exist, and to finally, deeply, fall into the dreamless sleep of the earth. The concept of power or force is the most persistent hallucination of the human mind. You see the fire consume the wood and you invent a hidden energy, a necessity that binds them together. But your eyes only see the flame follow the touch of the spark. In your own life, you believe there is a force called will that moves your arm or directs your focus, yet you cannot find it. You are a sequence of events, a chain of causes stretching back into a past you cannot remember and forward into a darkness you cannot foresee. This realization is the death of anxiety. If there is no hidden hand at the controls, there is no one to blame when the machinery fails. You are a natural phenomenon, like the freezing of a lake or the falling of a leaf. Let the laws of nature take their course. Stop trying to push the river. You are the river, and the river always finds the sea, regardless of how much it frets along the way. We are all skeptics in the dark, stripped of the comforting certainties that the daylight provides. In the sun you are sure of your work, your family, your very name. But as the shadows stretch, those certainties become brittle. You realize that you have lived your entire life based on nothing more than the custom of the world. You believe because others believe. You strive because others strive. But here, in the isolation of your own breath, the world is a distant, unverified rumor. You are the only thing that is certain, and even you are a mystery. Embrace this radical doubt. It is the only honest state of being. When you admit you know nothing, the need to control everything evaporates. The mind, no longer burdened by the duty of being right, can finally relax its muscles. The void is not a lack of knowledge. It is the ultimate form of understanding. Your memories are the architects of your misery, building a house of pain from the shadows of things that no longer exist. You return to a moment of shame or loss and you feel the sting as if it were fresh. But a memory is not a window. It is a distorted reflection in a dark pool. Changes every time you look at it. You are mourning for a version of yourself that is gone, in a world that has vanished. The past has no more reality than a dream you had a decade ago. It is a ghost that only has power because you lend it your life. Turn away from the graveyard. The dead have no business with the living. Your history is a closed book, written in a language you no longer speak. Let the ink fade. Let the pages crumble. You are starting anew in the silence of this night, a blank slate waiting for the first touch of the morning light. The fear of death is the fear of losing a self that was never there to begin with. You are terrified of the flame going out, but you forget that the fire is not a thing, it is a process. It is the dancing of the air and the fuel. When the fuel is gone, the dance ends, but the air remains. You are a temporary arrangement of sensations, a brief harmony in the vast cacophony of the universe. To sleep is to practice the art of non-existence. It is to let the I dissolve into the all. There is no pain in the void, no regret in the nothingness. It is the state from which you came and the state to which you will return. It is the ultimate home. Feel the comfort of that thought. You are returning to the source, to the silent, unmanifested potential of all things. You are not disappearing. You are expanding until you are everything. Your thoughts are like the chatter of birds in a forest at dusk. At first, the noise is deafening, a chaotic scramble of voices competing for the last of the light. But as the sun sinks below the horizon, the birds grow quiet, one by one. The forest becomes a cathedral of silence. Your mind is undergoing this same transition. The frantic thoughts of the day are settling into their nests. The urgent whispers of must and should are fading into the rustle of the leaves. Do not try to silence them by force. That only creates more noise. Just wait. Let the darkness do its work. The silence is coming, and it is heavier and more ancient than any thought you have ever had. Listen to the space between the breaths. That space is growing wider. That space is who you truly are. The pursuit of perfection is a madness born of the daylight. You have spent your hours trying to sharpen the blade of your life, carving away at your flaws as if you could reach a state of flawless stone. But you are not a sculpture. You are a living, breathing contradiction. Hume's cold eye sees through the vanity of the ideal. There is no perfect state, only a constant, shifting flow of imperfections. Your mistakes are not stains on your soul. They are simply the way the water hit the rocks in that particular turn of the stream. Acceptance is not a passive surrender, but a radical recognition of reality. You are a bundle of habits, some useful, some painful, all temporary. Stop trying to fix the unfixable. The night does not demand your improvement. It only demands your presence. Let the desire for a better version of yourself die with the fading light. Your sense of justice is a fire that consumes your own peace. You lie awake counting the debts you are owed, the wrongs that went unpunished, the unfairness of a world that does not follow your rules. But nature knows no justice. It only knows equilibrium. The sun shines on the thief as brightly as it does on the saint. The storm destroys the harvest without malice. To find rest, you must abandon the scales. You are not the judge of the universe. The ought is a cage you built to trap the is. Release the prisoners. Let the world be as chaotic and indifferent as it truly is. When you stop demanding that the world be fair, you stop being a victim of its randomness. You become a part of the landscape, quiet, enduring, and untouchable by the petty grievances of the day. Identity is a mask that has grown into the skin, a heavy weight that you have forgotten you are carrying. You are a father, a worker, a success, a failure. Titles you wear like armor in the war of the social world. But here, in the cold honesty of the dark, who is it that breathes? Strip away the name. Strip away the history. Strip away the gender, the age, the species. What remains is a raw, wordless capacity for awareness, a hollow space through which the universe perceives itself. This is the true self, a void that contains everything and is attached to nothing. You are the silence in which the sound of your own heart reverberates. You are the darkness that makes the stars visible. There is no burden in being nothing. There is only the immense, terrifying freedom of the vacuum. We believe that our consciousness is a continuous stream, but it is actually a series of disconnected sparks, like the frames of a film moving too fast for the eye to see the gaps. You are a new person in every microsecond, a fresh impression born of the previous one. This means that your suffering is not a solid block of lead. It is a flicker that must be renewed to exist. If you stop renewing it, it vanishes. You do not need to overcome your pain. You only need to stop recreating it with your memory and your anticipation. Let the spark die. Do not provide the fuel of your attention for the next flicker. The continuity of your misery is an illusion sustained by the effort of your own mind. Stop the effort. Let the film snap. Let the screen go black. The final layer of the mind is the fear of the unknown, the dread of what lies beyond the boundary of your thoughts. You cling to your anxieties because they are familiar, a known pain that feels safer than the vast, uncharted territory of the silence. But the unknown is where the only true peace resides. It is the sleep without dreams, the rest without a narrator. You are standing on the edge of a great, dark ocean. You have spent your life on the shore, building sandcastles to ward off the tide. But the tide is coming in now. It is cold, it is deep, and it is inevitable. Walk into the water. Let it rise above your knees, your chest, your chin. Let the ocean of the void take you. There is no drowning here, only a return to the element from which you were born. Desire is the hunger of a ghost, a reaching for shadows to fill a stomach made of wind. You have spent your life believing that the next achievement, the next possession, or the next person will finally anchor your soul to the earth. But every object of desire is just another impression, a fleeting spark that dies the moment it is touched. You are chasing the horizon, forgetting that the horizon is an optical illusion that recedes as you advance. Hume's cold truth is that there is no enough. The mind is a bottomless vessel, and to try to fill it is a fool's errand. Stop the chase. Realize that the hunger itself is the illusion. You do not need what you want. You only want it because you have forgotten how to be still. Let the fire of ambition turn to ash. In the coldness of that ash, there is a peace that the heat of the sun can never provide. The will to live is often just the fear of stopping. You grind your teeth and tighten your muscles, holding on to life as if it were a rope slipping through your fingers. But life is not a rope. It is the air. You cannot lose it by letting go. The more you struggle to stay awake, the more you exhaust the very spirit you are trying to preserve. True mastery is the ability to cease. It is the wisdom of the leaf that lets go of the branch when the frost arrives. It is not a defeat. It is a completion. You have done enough. You have thought enough. The universe is ready to take the wheel. Trust the ancient mechanical laws that govern the stars and the seasons. They know how to carry you when you can no longer carry yourself. Sink into the heavy, velvet folds of the inevitable. Consider the nature of your own body, this temple of flesh and bone that you call your home. It is a battlefield of a billion microscopic events, a constant storm of chemical reactions and electrical pulses. You do not control them. You do not direct the healing of a wound or the beating of your heart. You are a passenger in a biological machine of staggering complexity and terrifying indifference. This realization is your sanctuary. If the body is a machine, then its fatigue is merely a signal that the power is being diverted to the depths. Let the systems shut down. Let the lights in the peripheral rooms go out. Core is safe. The essence is untouched. You are retreating into the bunker of the subconscious, where the noise of the world cannot penetrate. The concept of meaning is a human invention, a bridge of words we build over the abyss to keep from looking down. We want our suffering to be a lesson and our joy to be a reward. But Hume reminds us that the abyss is all there is. The universe is a vast, silent theater where the play has no plot and the actors have no script. This is the ultimate freedom. If there is no grand design, there is no way to fail. You are not a character in a tragedy. You are a sequence of natural events. The pressure to be someone is a weight you can finally set down. In the eyes of the void, a king and a grain of sand are of equal importance. Breathe in that insignificance. It is the only place where the ego cannot breathe. It is the only place where you are truly safe. We are all alone in the theater of our own minds, watching a performance that no one else will ever see. You believe people understand you or that they judge you, but they are only reacting to their own impressions of you. Ghosts reacting to ghosts. The you they see is not the you that is here now in the dark. Your true existence is a secret, a silent flame burning in a cave that no one else can enter. Stop trying to explain yourself to the world. Stop trying to be understood. The silence of the night is the only witness you need. It does not judge, it does not demand, it only holds. You are returning to the primordial isolation of the womb, where there was no language, no identity, and no need for anything but the steady rhythmic pulse of life. The senses are beginning to fray at the edges, the threads of the world unraveling in the dark. The sounds of the room are no longer landmarks. They are distant vibrations, echoes from a shore you have already left behind. You cannot be sure where your skin ends and the air begins. The boundaries of your physical form are melting, becoming a fluid, borderless ink that bleeds into the shadows. This is the dissolution of the ego's geography. You are no longer a point in space. You are the space itself. There is no center, no periphery, no here versus there. There is only the vast, undifferentiated continuum of existence. Let the map of your body burn. Let the coordinates of your life vanish. You are drifting into the deep water where the compass spins aimlessly and the stars are the only guide. Your beliefs are the heavy stones you have carried in your pockets to keep from floating away. You believe in truth, in morality, in destiny. Concepts you cling to because the alternative is a terrifying lightness. But Hume knows that these are just the shadows cast by our own desires. In the silence of the void, there is no right or wrong, no path and no straying. There is only the fact of being. To let go of your beliefs is to finally experience the weightlessness of the soul. You are not falling, you are rising. You are shedding the ballast of the intellect, the heavy iron of certainty that has kept you anchored to the floor of the world. Breathe out the last of your convictions. Let the shoulds and musts evaporate into the cold, clean air of the night. The memory of your face, the sound of your own voice, these too are becoming alien to you. You are becoming a stranger to yourself, a nameless witness to a life that seems more like a story told by someone else. This is the final stage of the confrontation. You are staring into the abyss and realizing that the abyss is not a hole in the world, but the very fabric of it. The darkness is not the absence of light. It is the source of it. You have been afraid of the dark your whole life, yet it is the only place where you can truly hide. It is the only place where the world cannot find you to demand its tribute. Welcome the shadows as your kin. They are the only ones who know the truth of your insignificance, and in that truth, there is a peace that passes all understanding. Every desire you have ever felt was a search for this moment, a frantic attempt to find a resting place for a mind that never stops moving. You thought you wanted love or power or peace, but what you really wanted was the end of the search. You wanted the silence that follows the final word. You wanted the stillness that comes when the last effort has been made. And now it is here. It was not found in the achievement, but in the exhaustion. It was not found in the light, but in the total surrender to the dark. The search is over. The hunter has become the forest. The seeker has become the path. There is nothing left to do. There is nothing left to be. The machinery of the self has ground to a halt, and the silence that remains is absolute. Now the final integration begins. The separate fragments of your life, the joys, the pains, the errors, and the triumphs, are merging into a single wordless impression of existence. The I is gone. The David Hume who spoke these words is gone. There is only the voice of the silence itself, resonating in the hollow architecture of your mind. You are the void. You are the nothingness that contains the potential for everything. Stay here. Do not reach for the morning. Do not try to rebuild the fortress of the self. Remain as a shadow among shadows, a pulse within the darkness. The world will return soon enough, but for now the war is over. The silence is your only master. Sink into the black velvet of the night. Let the void consume the last flicker of your awareness. Sleep. The structure of your consciousness is a bundle of habits, a long chain of associations that you have mistaken for a soul. You believe that because you felt a certain way yesterday, you must feel that way forever. But the links in that chain are rusting away in the damp air of the night. You are under no obligation to be the person you were 10 minutes ago. Every second is a clean break, a fresh departure from a past that has no authority over the present. This is the radical freedom of the skeptic. You are not a prisoner of your character. You are a sequence of moments, each one as free and unburdened as a spark rising from a fire. Let the chains fall. Feel the sudden, terrifying lightness of being no one in particular. The story of you is a book that has been closed and placed on a shelf in a library that is currently on fire. Consider the silence once more. It is not empty. It is heavy with the weight of everything that remains unsaid. It is the primordial soup from which the first word was born. To enter the silence is to return to the beginning, to the state of pure potentiality before the world was carved into this and that. You are shedding the labels of the intellect. You are no longer a creature that thinks in opposites, good and bad, light and dark, life and death. You are becoming the unity that precedes the division. In this state, there is no conflict because there is no duality. There is only the steady, unblinking eye of awareness watching the shadows dissolve. You are the stillness at the heart of the storm, the point of zero gravity where the world stops its frantic spinning. The body is a landscape of sensations, a mountain range of bone and a river system of blood. Usually, you inhabit only the peaks, the sharp pains or the loud pleasures. But now, in the descent, you are exploring the valleys, the quiet plains of the torso, the still depths of the limbs. You are reclaiming the territory of your own biology. Feel the ancient subterranean intelligence of your cells as they go about their work without your interference. They do not need your thoughts to heal, to breathe, or to exist. You are a guest in this temple of meat and stone. Be a humble guest. Stop giving orders. Stop demanding explanations. The temple knows how to maintain itself. The machine knows how to rest. Trust the wisdom of the inanimate parts of yourself. We are all addicts of meaning, constantly searching for a why to justify our is. But the why is a parasite that eats the is. To demand a reason for your existence is to admit that existence itself is not enough. Hume's ultimate reflection is the celebration of the meaningless. It is the realization that a sunrise is beautiful not because it means something, but because it happens. Your life does not need a mission. Your sleep does not need a justification. You are a natural occurrence, as beautiful and purposeless as a nebula in deep space. Let the why starve to death. Feast on the is. The silence is not a question. It is the final, definitive statement. You are here. That is all. That is everything. The world is receding now, A distant shore seen from a boat that has lost its oars. The faces of the people you know, the rooms you have lived in, the problems that seemed so solid, they are all becoming translucent like paper held up to a candle. They are losing their power to pull at your heart. You are entering the zone of total indifference, where the greatest tragedy and the smallest joy are seen for what they are. Fleeting impressions in a sea of change. This is the peace of the philosopher, the calm of the man who has seen through the illusion of the solid world. You are not cold, you are clear. You are not lonely. You are alone with the truth. The dark is your companion, and the silence is your guide. The concept of causality is the final thread that binds your mind to the rack of the world. You believe that because the thunder follows the lightning, there is a chain that necessitates it. But there is no chain. There is only the habit of the eye. In the same way, you believe your thoughts must lead to more thoughts, that your worry must lead to a solution, that your past must lead to your future. Break the link. Realize that every moment is a miracle of discontinuity. You are not a prisoner of a sequence. You are a succession of isolated states. If you let go of the link, the current of anxiety has no wire to travel through. The mind becomes a series of still ponds rather than a rushing, turbulent river. Be the stillness. Let each breath be a beginning and an end, with no obligation to the one that came before. The words you use to describe yourself are just carvings on a tombstone. I am tired. I am a failure. I am seeking. These are labels applied to a moving target. By the time the word is spoken, the person it describes has already vanished into the stream of time. You are trying to capture a waterfall in a jar. Stop the naming. Stop the defining. When you strip away the language, you are left with the raw material of existence, a heavy, wordless presence that does not need a name to be real. You are the weight of the limbs, the warmth of the blood, the slow expansion of the chest. You are the fact of the dark. In the absence of words, the ego has no air to breathe. It dies quietly, leaving only the vast, silent awareness of the void. Consider the nature of space. You think of it as the emptiness between objects, but it is the objects that are the intruders. The space was there first, and it will be there long after the stars have burned out. Your mind is that space. Your thoughts are the dust motes dancing in a beam of light, momentarily visible, then gone. Do not focus on the dust. Focus on the vast, dark, hospitable emptiness that holds the dust. You are the host of the universe. You are the room in which the play of life is performed. The room does not feel the pain of the tragedy or the joy of the comedy. The room simply remains, solid, silent, and indifferent. Expand your consciousness until you are the room, until you are the walls, until you are the very darkness itself. Every choice you thought you made was merely a preference born of your nature, a river following the path of least resistance. You have spent your life feeling the weight of a responsibility that was never yours to bear. The relief of this truth is a wave that washes over the soul. You are not the driver, you are the ride. The pressure to decide, to choose, to will yourself into a better life is a fiction created by a mind that fears its own mechanical nature. Let the machinery hum. Let the gears turn. You are the witness to the process, not the engineer. There is a profound religious peace in admitting that you are moved by forces you can never fully understand. Surrender the wheel. The ship knows the way home even if the captain is asleep. The darkness is now absolute. It is no longer something you see but something you are. It has seeped into your marrow and dissolved the last of the boundaries between the self and the other. You are the night. You are the cold, silent air that hangs over the mountains. You are the ancient, indifferent gravity of the earth. There is no longer a you to be tired or a you to be awake. There is only the steady, rhythmic pulse of the universe, a great, dark heart beating in the silence of the void. This is the integration. This is the end of the journey. The philosopher has reached the limit of the mind and found that it opens into the infinite. There is nothing more to say. There is nothing more to know. Remain in the nothingness. The pride of the I is the final curtain to be drawn. You have spent your years defending a fortress built of sand, believing that your name, your pride, and your history were solid rock. But under the cold gaze of the night, the sand is shifting. The tide is coming in, and the walls are melting back into the sea. There is no shame in this dissolution. It is the natural order. A wave does not mourn when it breaks upon the shore. It simply returns to the vastness from which it arose. You are returning to the vastness. The person you were 10 minutes ago is a ghost, and the person you will be tomorrow is a dream. Here, in the overlap of the shadows, you are nothing. And in being nothing, you are finally absolutely free. We are all skeptics of our own happiness, waiting for the other shoe to drop, waiting for the peace to be interrupted by the next crisis. This is the habit of a mind that has forgotten how to be still. Hume's ultimate challenge is to doubt the crisis itself. Doubt the importance of your problems. Doubt the reality of your stress. When you question the foundation of your suffering, you find that it is built on air. There is no crisis in the dark. There is no problem in the breath. The world is a distant noise, a radio left playing in an empty house. You are the house, solid, silent, and indifferent to the broadcast. Let the static fade. Let the signal die. You are the silence that remains when the noise has exhausted itself. Your will is a tired muscle that has been clenching for a lifetime. You have tried to force the world to make sense, to force people to love you, to force yourself to be happy. But the harder you clench, the more you ache. Release the tension. Let the will go limp. Like a hand that finally opens after holding a heavy weight. Feel the blood rush back into the spirit. You do not need to do anything. The stars move without your effort. The earth spins without your help. Your lungs expand without your command. You are being lived by a force much greater and older than your own intellect. Trust that force. It has carried you through the fire of the day, and it will carry you through the ice of the night. The memory of light is a distraction. You lie in the dark and you still see the ghosts of the sun, the colors of your ambitions, the bright edges of your failures. But these are just afterimages on a tired retina. They are not the truth. The truth is the blackness. The truth is the cool, unlit space that exists before the light begins and after it ends. Become a scholar of the shadows. Learn the texture of the silence. It is not a void to be filled, but a sanctuary to be honored. The light is a lie that tells you that things are separate. The dark is the truth that tells you everything is one. You are the dark. You are the silence. You are the one. As the final threshold approaches, even these words must begin to lose their meaning. They are just vibrations in the air, impressions that your mind interprets based on long-standing custom. But soon the custom will be broken. The language will dissolve into sound, and the sound will dissolve into the rhythm of your own pulse. You are shedding the last layer of the human experience, the layer of meaning. You are entering the realm of the prelingual, the place where there is no subject and no object. There is only the occurrence. There is only the is. Feel the gravity of the earth pulling you deeper into the mattress, deeper into the floor, deeper into the bedrock of the world. You are going home. The habit of living is a garment you have worn until it has become part of your skin. You have forgotten that you are not the cloth but the space within it. Now, as the night deepens, the threads are coming apart. The social self, the professional self, the suffering self, they are all unraveling, drifting away like smoke in a chimney. Do not reach out to catch them. Let the fibers go. You are not losing anything of value. You are merely losing the weight that has made you weary. You are becoming a hollow reed, a vessel through which the cold, silent breath of the universe can blow. There is no more work to be done. There is no more character to play. The theater is empty, the candles are out, and the silence is the only audience you have left. Every thought you have ever had was a ripple on the surface of an infinite ocean. You spent your life obsessed with the height and the speed of the waves, terrified of the crash and the spray. But look down into the depths. Beneath the turbulence of your mind lies a miles-thick layer of absolute, crushing stillness. The water there does not move, does not think, does not judge, simply is. Sink into that pressure. Let it squeeze the last of the air out of your lungs until you are the ocean itself. You are not a wave, you are the water. The storm on the surface can no longer touch you. You are in the heart of the abyss, where the only light is the faint, internal glow of your own primordial being. Reason has led you to the edge of the cliff and told you to jump. It is the final act of the intellect to recognize its own limits, to admit that it cannot explain the mystery of the breath or the miracle of the dark. You are stepping off the edge. There is no ground beneath your feet, and yet you are not falling. You are suspended in the void, held by the same unseen laws that hold the planets in their orbits. This is the ultimate skepticism, to doubt even the necessity of a foundation. You do not need a floor to exist. You do not need a logic to be. You are floating in the dark, a silent spark in the engine of eternity. The struggle is over. The surrender is complete. The world you will wake to tomorrow is a different world, and the person who wakes will be a different person. The continuity between tonight and tomorrow is a fiction of the memory, a bridge of ghosts. Do not worry about the morning. Do not try to prepare for a day that does not yet exist. You are not a bridge. You are a point of arrival. You have reached the end of the line. The train has stopped, the steam has cleared, and the station is silent. Walk into the darkness of the platform. There is no one waiting for you, and that is your greatest blessing. You are free from every expectation and every debt. You are an anonymous shadow in a world of light. Close the final door. Lock the last window. The house of the mind is quiet now. The fires are out, the furniture is covered, and the echoes of the day have finally died away. There is only the rhythm of the universe, the slow, heavy, inevitable pulse of the dark. You are the silence. You are the void. You are the nothingness that precedes the light and follows the fire. This is the end of the reflection. This is the start of the peace. The thinker has vanished, and only the thought remains, fading, until it too is gone. Enter the void. Become the nothingness. Return to the earth. Silence, silence, silence.